Hi, and welcome to Balance Unleashed, your sanctuary for holistic well-being. Here, we explore the intricate tapestry of life, seeking harmony between mind, body, and spirit. We believe that true well-being is not just about physical health, but about cultivating a balanced and fulfilling existence. In the next 8 minutes, we're going to flip intimidation into fuel, using a primate brain trick backed by 2025 neuroscience. If you've ever shrunk in a room, watch this. By the end, you'll have a one-sentence reframe that ends the stomach drop forever. Ready? Let's go. This is based on cutting-edge neuroscience published in August 2025, and when you understand how your primate brain creates the feeling of intimidation, you'll never experience it the same way again. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about what's actually happening in your brain when you feel intimidated, because here's what most people don't understand. Intimidation isn't about the other person's power. It's about your brain's ancient programming kicking in. A groundbreaking study published in the Journal of Neuroscience in August 2025 used brain tractography, basically an MRI that maps neural pathways, on squirrel monkeys. What they found was shocking. The same brain circuits that determine dominance in primates are identical to the ones that make you feel intimidated in a meeting. Specifically, there's a white matter pathway in your brain called the uncinate fasciculus. This is the neural highway that connects your emotional center, your amygdala, to your prefrontal cortex, where you make decisions. When this pathway fires in a certain way, you automatically assume a submissive posture in social hierarchies. Here's the key insight from Stanford researcher Robert Sapolsky, who spent over 30 years studying primate hierarchies. Your stress response, the cortisol flooding your system, isn't measuring the actual threat. It's measuring your perceived social rank. Now here's where it gets interesting. In 2015, researchers studied wild baboons in Kenya and discovered something mind-blowing about how social hierarchies actually form. They found two forces creating dominance: the prior attributes hypothesis, which is just a fancy way of saying the biggest, strongest baboon wins, and something called social dynamics hypothesis, which involves winner and loser effects. Listen to this. A meta-analysis of 168 studies across species, from spiders to humans, found that prior winners win about 2/3 of their next fights. Prior losers lose about 2/3 of their next fights, and this has nothing to do with who's actually stronger. The research showed this happens because winning and losing change your hormone levels. Winners get a testosterone boost and a cortisol drop. Losers get the opposite. Testosterone crashes, stress hormones spike. And get this, these changes happen in humans too. Studies on chess players, tennis athletes, and even people playing video games found the same pattern. After a win, testosterone goes up. After a loss, cortisol increases. This creates a psychological momentum that has nothing to do with skill. Here's the critical part. Your brain is tracking wins and losses to update its model of where you sit in social hierarchies. Every time you feel small in a meeting, your brain logs that as a loss. Every time someone talks over you and you don't respond, that's a loss. Your brain is literally reinforcing a submissive pattern. But here's the good news. If your brain can learn to feel intimidated, it can unlearn it. And that's where the reframing technique comes in. Okay, here it is. The technique that changed everything for me and thousands of others. I call it the primate reframe. And it's based on a simple biological fact that most people completely miss. When you watch primates establish dominance, what are they actually doing? They're performing. The chest beating, the loud vocalizations, making themselves look bigger, it's all theater. Because here's what the research shows. The need to display dominance is actually a sign of insecurity about social position. Studies on dominance hierarchies consistently show that the most stable, secure, high-ranking individuals barely need to display at all. They're calm, relaxed. The animals who are constantly displaying, they're the ones uncertain about their position. So when that intimidating person walks into the room with all their bravado, here's what you need to reframe. That display isn't evidence of their power. It's evidence of their need to convince others, and maybe themselves, of their power. Let me give you the exact mental process. Next time you feel that stomach drop, do this. Step 1. Notice the display. Is their voice louder than necessary? Are they taking up more space than they need? Are they interrupting, dominating, or using aggressive body language? Before we continue, if you're enjoying this content so far, take a quick second to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It really helps the channel grow, and you'll never miss an upload. Also, if you're finding this information valuable, give the video a thumbs up to help more people discover it. Now, step 2 gets wild. Step 2. Mentally label it. Say to yourself, that's a dominance display. They're performing right now. Just like you'd observe a chimp beating its chest. Step 3. Remember this biological truth. If they were truly secure in their position, they wouldn't need to display at all. The performance is the proof of uncertainty. Step 4. Reframe your body's response. That adrenaline, that stomach drop, that's not fear of their power. That's your brain detecting a dominance display and getting ready to respond. You're not small, you're alert. Step 5, and this is crucial. You need to create a win to break the loser effect cycle. This doesn't mean you have to dominate the person. You just need to not submit. Maintain eye contact. Don't make yourself physically smaller. Speak at your normal volume. Don't apologize when you haven't done anything wrong. These are tiny victories that tell your brain, we're not submitting here. Let me show you this technique in action. Sarah, a software engineer, used to freeze whenever her manager criticized her work in front of the team. She'd apologize immediately, even when she wasn't wrong. After learning the Primate reframe, here's what changed. Next meeting, when her manager started his usual aggressive questioning, instead of feeling small, she mentally labeled it dominance display. He's performing because he's insecure about this project. Her stomach still dropped. That's the adrenaline. But instead of interpreting it as fear, she reframed it as alertness. She maintained eye contact, didn't apologize, and calmly responded with data. That small win, just not submitting, changed everything. Within 3 months, she was promoted. Not because she became aggressive, because she stopped signaling submission. Remember, dominance hierarchies form through interaction. If you stop playing the submissive role, the hierarchy changes. The 2024 research on primate hierarchies confirmed this. Rankings aren't set by size or strength alone. They're maintained through repeated social interactions. Change the pattern of interaction, change your position. I've heard from thousands of people who've used this reframe. Job interviews, difficult family members, toxic bosses, public speaking. The same pattern. Once you see dominance displays for what they are, performances of insecurity, they lose their power over you. So here's what I want you to do. This week, maybe even today, you're going to encounter someone who makes you feel small. And in that moment, you have a choice. You can let your primitive brain run the old program, detect the dominance display, feel threatened, submit. Or you can run the new program, detect the dominance display, label it as insecurity, refuse to submit, log a small win. Remember, intimidation is a learned response. You learned it through accumulated micro-defeats. You can unlearn it through accumulated micro-victories. The research is clear, winner and loser effects are real, but they're also reversible. The person you are right now is not the sum of your past defeats. You're one reframe away from breaking that pattern. One small win away from starting a new cycle. If this reframe helped, share it with one person who needs courage today. Comment "win" with your next micro-victory, and I'll reply with feedback. Subscribe now. Next video reveals the science-backed charisma switch you can turn on in 30 seconds. Save this and rewatch before tough meetings. Thank you for watching.